Boy, you had me from the start. By the way you stared, the way you rolled up for me, yeah. Man, I felt your energy. Wasn't used to being loved and treated differently, yeah. But something went wrong, the signals got crossed, and now we're on completely different pages. Let's go where we were, where no one gets hurt. Baby, keep it right there, don't you stress the flow. You're trying to pick the pace up, we should take it slow. Baby, keep your focus, don't you make me change my mind. If you love me, baby, don't you switch up the vibe. Baby, don't you, baby, don't you, baby, don't you switch up the vibe. Baby, don't you, baby, don't you, baby, don't you switch up the vibe. Will you take me on a trip? Always up and down and back and forth in merry-go-round. I just wanna get it right, but when you go left, I'm stuck here feeling left behind.
Through thick and thin, for better or for worse. After 20 plus years of marriage and 3 children, my parents are sharing their love, care, and wisdom throughout the world. Spreading this love won't be hard for them because it's simply in their DNA. I present Donnell and Angelic Jackson.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? Welcome to Divine DNA. I'm one of your hosts, Donnell, and this is my beautiful queen,
Angelic.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today, the young folk are in the building, and one of the best young folk we have is our beautiful daughter is taking over. Yeah, she's taking over the show with some of her friends. So stay tuned. Are you guys ready?
Without further ado,
I don't think you guys are ready. You think they're ready, babe?
I'm so sorry.
What happened?
I was trying to stick the baby in the shoes.
Already with the bloopers.
That's hilarious.
Already.
Oh, and my snuggle bug can do no wrong. Okay?
Yes.
Oh.
So after this break, the young folk will take over.
Yes.
Until then,
without further ado.
Hey there, in the mood for some style? Well, make your way over to queenbeehustle.com. Miss Hustle don't play no games now. She gave y'all options, keychains to multi-purpose trays to t-shirts. Select products can even be customized, all of which are made by this beautiful lady here, Miss Queen Bee. Head on over to queenbeehustle.com where hustle and creativity uniquely meet.
Rebel soul child got a fist balled. I'm a respawn of ancestors and I'm blessed, They are not him, tell him fess up. I get check stub, hella carefree, nothing scares me, hella reckless. Yeah, I got next up, right? No, we not the same, cause see when I look in your iris, you likely to talk but not ready to ride. You do better keeping it quiet. My pen is ignited, my soul is enlightened. I like who I am, but I'm biased. They palette is right, and my drip is a fountain. I'm not like these regular guys. All of that talk is misguided. She like the way I make the tape print, but the way I make the words play is grim. I'm the reaper reaching for the kill switch. The label cut the check like the bladesmith. Something sparking where his brain is. The beat is somewhere where they prayers in. Geronimo, the way I make the bass jump with no parachute is tasteless. They likely to run their mouth, but when they see you face to face, they quick with the shape shift. Up through the night, work the grave shift. Batted from the cradle to the grave, bitch. Big mad how they face tense. Look both ways for you catch fade. I'm a nice guy on the inside, still I'm not somebody to be played with. Keep it all the way 1,000. I don't remember how the ground feels. I left the city, I've been browsing. Treading water that they drowning. I head on the swivel, yeah. It's only really my surroundings. And keep it all the way 1,000. I from the night I ground fish. I left the city, I've been browsing. Treading water that they drown.
Hey, I got thrown up on my elbow. Oh my God. Hey, you guys. How are we doing?
Hey.
Hi. Well, you saw I introduced everyone in the intro. My name is Shakyra, aka Peaches, and this is my very first panel on my dad's show. I'm excited. How are you guys feeling tonight?
Good, you know.
We chilling.
All right. Well, I'm glad you like the intro. I'm glad you like the intro. So today is, we already talked about it, but to the audience, today we're going to be talking about, all of us are under 40. We're specific generations. There are certain conceptions about us. And there's questions that the people would like to be answered. So without further ado, I'm going to start off with a general question, and then we can just go in order of how we feel. If you could rate the current state of your love life 1 through 10, how would you rate it and why? So I'll give y'all a couple of seconds. All y'all got like the same smirk on your face. What's going on? Is it all over? I'm scared. So let's go in order. Chico, how you feeling? Rate your love life 1 through 10.
I would give it honestly like probably 3.5, maybe something like that. Nah, reason why is because I haven't really like been committed to another female in like many years, so it's just been a solo ride from now. And low key, I'm enjoying it, to be honest. But like every now and then, it doesn't hurt to have that somebody else around you. You feel me? But yeah, 3.5.
The half counts.
The half counts. Yes.
So, Willow, 1 through 10 and why?
I was gonna say a 3. I just feel like, I just feel like I didn't expect dating to be this hard, I guess. So yeah, that's all I have for that right now.
I got you. I respect it. Raul. Raul, rate your love life 1 through 10 and why?
I'm gonna say a 1.
Dang,
Because
that's crazy.
just because of how sure I feel about myself, and I be blaming so much stuff on me. Some days I feel like, okay, like like there's nothing wrong with me, or like I'm just like a quiet person. I don't put myself out there. I guess that's why I would say a 1.
Right.
That's all I got.
I feel you. Well, I can't. Is there even a number for my love life? To be honest, can I answer them? Well, my current dating life, I'll say maybe like a 5, only because I haven't really been trying like that. I had the baby. I deal with that. And
That's
with that,
already a lot.
it's already a lot. So I just been hanging out with people more than anything. I've been really developing a whole lot more friendships than I have been, purposely diving into the dating life. And even before I got pregnant, it was slim pickings. I don't know. It's just there's a whole lot of people. At least we're being honest. I mean, I don't know. Even though there's 8 billion people in the world, millions of people in America, millions of people in Florida, it's just not. It's not giving.
It's not giving.
Say 5. Oh, and I also did skip a part. I didn't let y'all introduce yourselves. I'll give you an example of like, what to say, and you always say what you're comfortable with. My name is Shakyra, aka Peaches. I'm 21 years old. I have they, she pronouns. I've been dating for years. I can't even think of like what age I started dating. Um, and yeah, that's the rundown on me. Chico, would you like to go next?
Yeah, nice to meet everybody. My name is Chico. I like to make music. I'm striving to be an artist. Uh, so far, my dating life is. Hmm, let's just skip that question for now. But on the other, on the other hand, though, like overall, it's just I like experiencing like meeting new people and stuff like that. That's pretty much where I'm at right now, to be honest. But hey, I dropped a new single out, so if anybody's trying to listen to some new music, look me up on YouTube, anything, and you'll find me.
Here.
How old are
What
you?
was that?
How
Oh,
old
I'm 22. I'm 22. I'm 22.
are you?
My name is Willow. I am 29. I'll be 30 this year. What was I gonna say? I went to school for music, so I do music also. I also did a tour right out of college. Graduated like December of 2016, and I did a tour for like 5 years. It's called Beautiful. So we toured all over North America and yeah, so United States and Canada. So that was a good. It was a fun experience. I learned a lot. I made a lot of money. Can't say I saved it all, but I had a great time.
And Raul.
That sounds lit.
Yeah, it was fun. It was.
Hi,
I
my,
work with people from my that I work with.
I'm 21. Gonna be 22 this year. I like singing and doing like rap, whatever. I'm just too shy to like, do some of that stuff, but yeah, that's
Raul, what's
that. Yeah,
no, period. Sometimes everything that needs to be said is nothing, and that's okay. So yeah, I want to welcome you all to the show once again. And I do see there's plenty of people in here, so do not be scared to ask a question, whether it be general, surface, whether it be deep. We are here to answer the questions for you. Um, so the next question that I have, and it's a big question to me because one thing about us being under 40, we were raised with social media and the internet. So my question for y'all is how important is social media in a relationship and what role does it play?
How in our relationships? Is that what you said?
Yes. Like for example, like in the relationship, like do you have a thing about being posted? Do you believe that a lot of people follow their type of people, like who they're attracted to? How do you feel about your partner liking a specific person's photo? How do you feel about them refollowing their ex after dating you for a couple of months? Stuff like that. How big of a role does social media play within your relationship and why?
To be honest, I think social medias and relationship do not work together at all. And reason why is because our generation is super, super insecure. Because, like, I feel like if I'm in a relationship with somebody, like you bring the best out of me and I'll bring the best out of you. But I'm also like a very jealous person. So of course I'm gonna be insecure about it. So it's like a matter of just talking to your other half and seeing like what works and what doesn't work in my opinion. But social media is a very toxic place, in my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah, yeah. I totally, I totally agree with
Raul,
you.
your sound is going in and out.
You hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so I agree with him because people these days are like so messy, and you got people from your past like stalking your freaking social media, and you never know, they could still be holding a grudge or whatever. So okay, that's his little girlfriend or boyfriend. That's their ad name, username, whatever. Let me just go holler at them real quick and just like say this happened or whatever, or lie and stuff. Like, I just believe, like, if I was to have a boyfriend, I would not like I wouldn't even post them. I'll just keep my relationship out of social media, and what's going on in the relationship out of social media too. Like, my business is nobody else's business, or it's nobody else. Like, it don't gotta be posted on social. Whatever happens, we can sit down and talk about it. You don't gotta go to about it, whatever.
Yeah, your sound was kind of breaking
Still
up.
in and out, but I caught most of what you're saying, and I can agree with most of it to a certain extent, only because like there's that insecurity within me because I am a plus size Black woman. Like, there's a whole lot of demographic behind that. I've dealt with people trying to hide me in the past. So there's that little part of me where if you have an issue with posting me, I'm like side eyeing you, like, what's the issue? Because I post people with no hesitation. Like, if I see you doing something funny or there's something happening in the moment, I'm gonna record you. I'm gonna think it's cute, put a filter on it, yada yada yada. But then if you find an issue or like tell me that you want our life to be private, our life can be private and people still know about me. It's a thin line between being private about your relationship and then being ashamed of it, at least for me, in my experience with dating people, especially with men. Because I've dealt with a lot of men who do want to keep things private. I'm just like, I'm not posting our business out there. It's just literally a picture of you and me. How is that anything telling about our relationship other than that we're together? You feel me?
No, I definitely understand. I can relate on as far as the hiding part because I'm a transgender woman. So usually the interactions with men have been very much so on the level of they just want one thing, which is sex. So I can understand that. So dating as a whole has been a little difficult. Um, and to answer your question as far as like social media, like I think that I agree that social media is toxic, especially Twitter. I will say there are times that I have met significant others on social media apps like Tinder and all those other dating apps, whatever. Because I think now it's more so a thing that you meet somebody online before you meet them in person. There are times I've met people in person if I were to go out, but as far as social media, I think it has its pros and its cons as far as dating.
Like, yeah, you can meet great people on social media, but then you can meet the most like terrible ones on social
Yeah,
media. And for some reason, the most terrible ones sometimes are the ones that stick the longest in your life or whatever reason.
right.
So it can become quite a mess. And social media is very toxic, especially since like there's this thing where everyone feels the need to let folks know that they have their life together. So there's like this large misconceptions of how relationships are supposed to happen. In terms of like, social media and social media couples and all of those different stuff. And then there's times where you think a couple has it all together, and then all of a sudden one of them posts a random story about the other one, and they're listing off all of the different BS that the other one had put them through. And you kind of just like, should I know this? Like, is this my
Right.
that's when the
Right.
whole thing comes into play. Because one thing about me, I'm not really the type of person to start something on social media unless like I'm like super fucking angry, you know. But the whole bringing it to social media and trying to recruit people into seeing my ex partner as the bad guy and all these different things, that's not me.
Right.
Okay, and
Yeah,
each and every app is a different type of messy. Exactly. Each and every social media is a different type of messy. Facebook is messy. Twitter is messy. Snapchat is messy.
Snapchat
Instagram.
is where the hoes be at.
Snapchat where the hoes and the drug dealers be at. Yes.
Definitely
You
is.
if you tell me, oh yeah, hit me up on Snapchat, I'm like,
No.
you, you serve, don't you? You serve.
uh
Get somebody else to do it.
Get
No,
some.
it's funny too because the other day I was talking to this chick on Tinder, and she was like, "Oh, what's your Instagram?" And like I sat down and I thought about that, and I'm like, "Damn, nobody asks for phone numbers anymore. Like
Exactly. Like,
everybody wants either
Our thing is
Instagram,
there are
Twitter,
people
something
who
like
ask
that."
for numbers like 5 minutes into talking. Like what?
Right. They don't ask for social media numbers at the right time. I'd be like, hi, they're like, hi, I'm like, what's your number? Whoa, you don't even know my full name yet. Like, let's hold your horses. There's like steps to it. Like when I'm speaking to a person, like I have to get a feel for you before I give you anything. Before I give you my Snapchat, my Instagram, my phone number.
right.
I have to like, feel for you because our personalities might not be compatible. Why would I give you my number? Why would I just sit there and have this unsaved number in my phone? I'm going to talk to you for at least a couple of hours. And if the conversation is good, then yeah, I'll give you my number. I'll give you my Instagram, sure. And then of the people who like immediately like ask me for the Snapchat specifically, I'm like,
Yeah, usually I think it's because people feel like you're either a catfish or I don't know. They be like, "Do you have Snap?" So they can, I guess, snap you to see what you look like. I don't know.
and honestly, sometimes when it comes to the whole Snap thing, it's like there's this option that says that, oh yeah, they do. There's this option that says disappear after 24 hours of viewing that a lot of people who ask for my Snapchat have. So I'm just like, why do you feel the need to go to the one app that has disappearing messages?
Right. Also on Instagram, there's vanish mode too.
Yeah,
So
I'm like, what is this? Because let me find out. I'm in the middle of some BET storyline. I'll be very pissed.
right.
Um, moving on to the next question that I have, because one thing that I do recognize about this panel is that we have a lot of demographics and characteristics, personality traits going on. We're Black, we're Hispanic, we're both. Some of us are part of the LGBT plus community. We're young. So, with all those demographics and characteristics in mind, what are some characteristics that people have had about you while dating that you had to like let people know that's not that's not how it works with me? Like for example, I'm a plus size person. So a lot of people assume that plus size people don't have a lot of options in terms of dating. So they assume that I'm easy. They assume that because they're giving me the slightest bit of attention that I'm just going to immediately drop my pants and go for it. Or I'm like, no, I have standards and boundaries, and they kind of get pissed. And they're like, oh, I didn't want your fat ass anyway, yada, yada, yada. And I'm just like,
Of course.
is it that serious? So
That's
it's kind
not
of
what you said though. That's not what you said 5 minutes ago.
like 5 minutes ago you were trying to get my number. What happened? Another misconception, of course, it is centered around our age. There's this conception that we don't believe in love and marriage and then all that different stuff, and that we're just like stuck on hookup culture and all these different things. That's not me either. Even though I was a person who went into hookup culture as soon as I like turned 18, I still had like standards. I'm like, I am gonna have a conversation with you. You know that, right? Like, and that was something that I guess you didn't really see. People weren't really used to that. There were times where people were shocked that I asked them how they were doing, or I offered to buy them food or things like that. I'm just like, so y'all just meet up, do things, and then y'all just say deuces and then goodbye. I don't work like that. Like, no, I want to see how
Never talk again.
I want to check on you, hold a conversation. So yeah, again, I'm going to ramble, but just to repeat the question, what are some misconceptions that people have about you while dating, and how did you navigate that?
A common one would probably be that people, I don't want to like brag or nothing like that, but some people will be like, oh, Chico is pretty, so like I'm just gonna assume that he's a man whore, and I'm like, what? Like that's the last thing I'd want to be. It's too many nasty things going on out there. So like, I don't know. I mean, there's really no other way for me to just like guide that away from anything. I'm just being me, you know? Like, it's me as a package. I feel like if you can't accept me for who I am, then I guess you're not the right one. I mean, doing little tweaks and changes and stuff like that around there, yeah, I can agree with that. But I personally feel like you shouldn't be changing who you are just to please somebody else.
No, I agree. I would say some of the things for me is one, people assume that I do sex work because I am trans. I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's the thing. I mean, I get it. I understand, but I don't. I'll say the other thing is,
They watch Pose too much.
right. The other thing is, what I've noticed when people know that I'm trans right off the bat, their conversation is different with me than finding out a little bit later. If that makes sense, like, and when I say that is like on dating apps, I have it on, like I would have it on there if I'm on a dating app, but like as far as in person, I don't that's not something I'm forthcoming with because I feel like it's not important at the time, especially if I'm not interested in you, whatever. Um, but usually when people see that I'm trans, whatever, it'll be immediately like sexual. It won't be anything like high or anything. It's just sexual.
So I feel that. One thing that I mean, I guess in a way, because I feel like Willow, me and you might have talked about this when we deal with chasers. Um, chasers, they're like one of the most entitled demographic that I've ever dealt with. As far as me, I deal with people who are like they call them fatty chasers because I am a fat person. With Willow is more in terms of her trans identity, trans chasers,
Yeah.
but they're the most entitled demographic of people that I've ever met. They get really weird because they like to like, hey, Granny Peaches.
And
They like to, I don't know, they're just extremely entitled, and they like to like really emphasize how pretty I am because of the demographic that they're chasing.
right.
Um,
Get oddly like aggressive if you don't respond the way that they want you to respond. So
I'm just like
Mm.
hello.
Yeah.
And one thing I had to learn is that people's perception of me and what they think I should be doing has absolutely nothing to do with me and a lot to do with them. Because like sometimes people make you like feel bad. At the same time of them trying to like hit on you, I'm like, how do I feel bad that you're hitting on me? In your mind, you think that you would like feel comfortable or confident or happy about someone asking for it. No, it's like disgusting. It makes me feel nasty
Yeah.
sometimes. But it's just something that unfortunately throughout life I'm just gonna have to deal with. And even if I did, lose weight, get abs, all that, I'm just gonna deal with a different type of chaser.
Right.
So, I just gotta pay it and and deal with it. I'm sorry, my sister was dancing in the corner. Um, So as far as dating, right, we all have things and standards as far as what we want in our partner. So in what ways do you ideally want to align with your partner? Whether it be having to do with mental health or culture or political stance, just certain characteristics. How do you want them to, what is your ideal partner, essentially, is the question.
So my family is very Christian, so she would definitely have to be Christian for sure. Uh, if not, my family will go crazy. Listen, but I'm really not looking for like, pieces and pieces of like whoever I'm looking for. Honestly, if I feel like we can have a good life together, then that's really all I'm interested in. Uh, yeah, like I just got to make sure that I like what I'm looking for. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think for me, I guess trust is one thing. You know what I mean? You don't have trust in a relationship, then why are you in a relationship? As far as the communication, I feel like there have been times where communication has just been off. Um, as far as dating, and then there's the added layer again, because I'm gonna mention it probably a couple times. a big experience of mine is the fact that I am trans. So like that is something that I can't like detach from my identity. You know what I mean? It's a part of me. Um, and essentially just like someone who actually is not essentially what you said, like gonna like hide me. You know what I mean? Like openly, you know, claim me as a partner. You know what I mean?
I think for me, well, number one, I'm not. Even though I was raised raised with Christian values, I kind of like steered away from that. Not in a sense of like I don't believe in God, but more in a sense of the Christian community, especially like the Black Christian community, can sometimes be very toxic. And I didn't know how to like navigate that. And there were, and we could like, honestly, we could make that another panel about how I feel about religion, but religion is not very super
Yeah.
important for me. And as far as like, values and things like that, almost everyone I know knows that I am an activist. So there are certain things that I do and don't like. So it's very important for me that my partner, whether it be girl, boy, they, them, uh, it's very important for me that at least most of our values are aligned as far as that, because if they aren't, we're going to constantly butt heads about certain situations. If our, I don't even want to call it political, maybe like social values. If our social values don't align, and even if our political values don't align, it's going to have us constantly butt heads because activism is very important for me. Also, as far as us having the same values, it kind of like steers into how we have conversations and stuff like that. Because, a lot of my friends, they have mental illnesses. They're on the spectrum. I have mental illnesses. I'm on the spectrum. So there's certain ways that I want to navigate life throughout that. So I think that's one of the most important things. And, just like you said, Willow, there's certain demographics that I literally cannot change. So I just hope that they can understand that that's just going to be a part of my life. And even though I do believe that you have to accept me to a certain extent, because in every relationship you change and you navigate and you accommodate for your partner, fine. Um, but there are times where I'm just like, this isn't something that I should change because it's who I am and I'm kind of stuck with it. Not saying that I don't want to change it, but I'm just like, I'm quite literally stuck with it. So there has to be that kind of understanding too. And also we are like really young, like we're not 50, like we don't have mortgages, there's a lot of years that we have left. So there's also that understanding that I'm still trying to figure stuff out. I'm healing. I'm not healed. Duh. Like I'm
Yeah.
trying, not finished. Like there's
Yeah.
still a lot that I'm trying to navigate. So
Honestly, at like this age that we're at right now, too, it's more of like finding out what it is that we're looking for, if that makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
because
Even though I'm a little bit older, I still there's a lot of things that I don't know. A lot of things I'm still trying to figure out myself. So I definitely agree with it.
Yeah, like my cousin, she is 30 years old and she's still, just like I said, still trying to figure out everything that's coming ahead of her. And she was talking to me. She was like, Chico, like, don't be in no rush. Enjoy every single moment of it and make the most of everything that you can. But, like, whenever you meet the right one, you'll definitely know. And I'm like, okay. We'll see. We'll see.
honestly, I think another reason why sometimes I feel kind of rushed in the process is because, again, with the social media thing, all of these
Yeah.
Instagram couples and these
Uh,
people, they make it seem like they have everything together. They have two houses and a business and three dogs and two Range Rovers.
Even the ones that don't, like, look at
My
what's his
classic
name,
kids.
Blueface, and the girl. Yeah, they are super toxic, and people are still wanting to know everything about them.
I've
So
muted
I'm
them on
like,
how to seeing them.
And then people use that as an example of how
yeah,
people
like what?
navigate this. I'm like, I'm not Blueface. What?
Right?
I am not blue. That is not
Uh-uh.
me. Get somebody else to do it. That
Get
is
something else to
not
do.
Like that is not how we work. And that's actually like another, that's like kind of like another question that's like birthing a whole bunch of different questions. How do y'all feel about the conceptions that people have about us young people? They make it seem like we're so like adventurous and we don't believe in love and we're toxic and we're saying like, you know, fuck marriage and all these different things. How do you feel about that? And how would you, and what would you like to tell the older generation about those misconceptions about us?
Child, every other day you calling me old, so I don't know.
Older, more older than 40.
What's so funny is my mom says all the time, she's like, you millennial, I'm a millennial, obviously, but she was like, you millennials are so different, like the way you go about life, whatever. Just in general, I just think, but I just think as a whole, like, I don't know what they think we're trying to do, but I feel like because of social media and because of a lot of different things, that dating and just life in general is just a little bit harder because now like everything is inflated, everything's expensive. Like it's hard to own a home. It's hard to do all these things.
Yeah, there's way too many things to think about at once, to be
A lot
honest.
to think about.
As soon as,
So
we get paid, like as soon as we get paid, we buy a pizza and we pay one bill and the money's gone.
exactly.
Yeah, literally.
And then on top of that, we're hyper aware of like, like mental health and like unpacking like generational curses and stuff like that. So we're trying to like, and it's almost like now, because I think even now, I think COVID kind of helped a little bit because like I had a conversation with my mom about some things that she had never talked to her dad about, or things that happened in her childhood as to how it shaped her today. And so like it's it's a lot. It's a lot. And my mom is in there. I can ask her to come in here, but it's a lot.
So we have a question from Megan on the screen. What do y'all look for when you're trying to figure out if someone you're talking to wants something more, like something long term?
Ask them.
Yeah, I see. Listen, when I first started dating and I got through my little whole phase and went through that, all of the signs that people told me to look for, I looked for them, and then they were like, "I just want to be friends." I'm like, "That's not what they." That's not what they So as far as like the looking for something more, I'm not the I'm gonna just rip off the band-aid and just ask. I'm like, "Tell me, my man." No, okay, cool.
Yeah,
You don't have to do it.
I think, and I have a habit of doing this too, just because I just expect somebody to know how I feel or know what I'm going through, whatever, especially with a partner, and that's not like realistic. And I think a lot of times we sensationalize that, like, oh, if this is your partner, it's your soulmate, whatever, they should just know and they should just do. Like, no, that's not how life works. You have to like communicate those things. If you feel away, you have to say those things. If you're looking for those things, you have to talk. You have to say those things. So,
in some ways though, like I feel like there's some things that a person should just automatically know. Like I do agree to a certain extent because like how a person wants to be treated, period. You know that a lot of us do like being pampered. We do like dates. We do like certain effort. So at a certain point in time, it kind of just have to be like, well, yeah, this person will want that because, they have communicated that. Because one thing about me, I let it be known that I like effort. If you take me to a picnic and all we do is sip wine and paint, I will count that as effort because at least you tried. It doesn't matter that it was a $20 date. What matters is that you planned it. It's kind of like that. When a person knows you long enough, there's just certain things that should be automatic. Now, of course, it doesn't mean that they can read your mind every single time. You do have to communicate during arguments, whatever. But at the very least, I'm like, sir or ma'am, you've known me for 6, 7, 8 months. How do you not know what my love language is when I communicated that with you multiple times? So it's kind of like it's a back and forth thing with me about knowing and not knowing,
Yeah, but it's definitely like you said though. It's definitely effort because effort comes with everything. Effort brings questions to the table like, "What color do you like? What's your favorite food?" Stuff like that. So if somebody really isn't showing any type of effort to the conversation or the activities that you guys are doing, then kick rocks. Like, move on to the next because you're just wasting your time right there. In all honesty.
right.
There is a question in the comments that's specific to Willow. It's Grandpa James. But Willow, as a member of the trans community, Transformers a joke, do you ever feel the pressure to seek out a trans partner while dating?
No, I don't. What's interesting is the every other partner that I've had has been cisgender, meaning that they identify with the gender that they were assigned at birth. I will say it's been interesting. But I recently started trying to date trans men, and that's been kind of an interesting experience. Hello,
Hello?
but I don't feel the pressure. I don't feel the pressure to know. Um, but I'm open to both trans and cis partners, not women. I don't. Well, take that back. I do like women also, but I don't know. I see myself being with a male presenting person long term. So that's my answer to that. Hopefully that answered Samaj.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I can't exactly answer that question because I'm not trans, but I'm glad you for answering that for us. So next question is from Ty. What do y'all think is the most important factor in maintaining a relationship?
Communication.
Communication. Because if we're not talking, then it's not working.
But if you're
Right.
there's a thing that even though you're trying to talk, miscommunicating is a big thing too, because it's like y'all could be on two different wavelengths. It's like, okay, what is happening right now? Like,
So it has to be the correct form of communication that works better for both of you to understand.
yes.
Yeah, and sometimes it does take being the bigger person as well. Cause listen, me for example, I like to hold grudges. So like, yeah, it does take being the bigger person every now and then too. Because hey, you reach out to somebody and let them know, hey, I didn't like how this and this happened, but like, I understand I also did this wrong. Just talk and figure it out. Like that's all it really is. Most people just go straight to social medias, bringing that back, and posting, "Oh my God, I'm so over this," or like da 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 da, like ruin it. Just doing that.
I will also say that I do have a habit of like going off when I'm angry. So that's a thing.
But it's perfectly fine though, because we're human at the end of the day. It's just a matter of like cooling down like an hour or 2 hours later, and then coming back and saying, you know what, forget what I said. I'm sorry. Like, let's figure this out.
Yep.
You're like, nah, I'm gonna still argue.
No. I hear you. I think Peach is laughing because she knows how I am.
I forgot my own question. Oh no, communication. Because one thing about it, I've gotten better, and honestly, I'm proud of myself. But my pride was priding. Okay, it used to take me a while to recognize the alleged attitude problem that I have. So in addressing that, I have been able to apologize and come up to people and tell them how I feel. Because one thing about it is that sometimes I shut down when I have something like wrong with me, and I just rather deal with it myself and unpack it myself, even though someone else has bothered me, and that's an issue that I have. So then sometimes when I do communicate those problems, it comes off the wrong way, or it comes off accusatory, and that's not my intention. Hey, because you're commenting, but you're sitting right next to me.
I'm crying. I have a habit of saying things that I don't mean when I'm angry. So, yeah.
I'm nervous.
Uh,
Did mention it earlier, and this is actually a very important question for our generation specifically. How did COVID change your perspective on dating? Because for me, I immediately what life went kind of downhill after COVID started. I wasn't able to go to school anymore, and then I started protesting and all these different things. So, how do y'all feel about COVID, and how did that like shift your love life? Were you one of the people that jumped into hookup culture? Did you completely change as a person? You don't recognize yourself. Tell me.
Honestly, after COVID, I feel like it was such a bad pandemic that everybody was going through things, you know. Some people lost a couple of loved ones and stuff like that, and it really developed who they are as a person today. Uh, the only thing is that for our generation, we took that opportunity to like go out and explore more of ourselves, I would say. So
Sorry.
like I feel like it helped in a way, but at the same time too, like it kind of pushed us like really, really far away into like a couple of more years ahead of our life, if that makes sense. Cause like right after COVID, I was extroverted as heck. Cause before, listen, it was horrible. I just did not want to be inside the house. So like it actually forced me to like go out and do new things, try sports, try skating, stuff like that. So
For me, my initial reaction was kind of the opposite. Um, it was more of a I love being inside actually. I was tired of people. I'm like, I don't have to think about no more. Oh, bachata. Like I was happy. But then I got bored. I was like I don't it's like I don't, but now I kind of want to see them.
okay, yeah.
So, but I did it in a different way. I didn't exactly start going out a lot. Like there was the times where I would go out to like a club or something here and there, but then I started protesting and listen, those people and just dealing with like because we all like we have dealt with racism, okay, but dealing with it like that where it kind of like purposely going into it. And then people would try to listen. There was so many entanglements in that little protest coalition. I'm like,
Wow.
he so and so, they so ain't they?
Mm-hmm.
Ain't she just gonna rap? Like it's just like a whole bunch of different things that would happen. So COVID was a lot. COVID was a lot. It was.
Yeah, I definitely I think for me, I agree with you. I was more so I was tired of people, so it took me a minute to actually really start talking to people again. I think I more so relied on like social media, like Tinder and stuff like that, as far as dating. I went out a couple times, like I would go out, and I still do with my friend Kim, whatever. But as far as everything else, like even now, I don't like being around people. So the most times that I speak to people is with you, Peaches, and on Spaces. You know what I mean?
Honestly, COVID did train me to like
Yeah.
number one, I didn't realize how close people like being to me in a grocery line until
Right.
I was like
That's
6 feet,
definitely
6 feet.
true.
I'm like, why are you on my ass anyway? Why are you breathing on my neck with a loaf of bread in your hand? You need to.
Right.
So as far as like dating and just being social in general, because not all social settings are dating. It's just like platonic. You're going out to the club, whatever. I'll walk into a show and I'm not a show, well, a show, an event. I'm like, there's too many niggas in here. Like I'm just like, it's just too many. COVID is spreading. It's
Nah,
Yeah, and
definitely.
it even got to the point to where like because even now because we don't have to wear the masks. Sometimes I wear the mask if I don't want to see people. You know what I mean? Like if I know I'm gonna go into a grocery store.
if I don't want to be perceived or like, I'm gonna wear this mask.
Absolutely,
Right.
Absolutely not. You will not. You will not be socializing with me today. I'll be having a mask on and my earphones.
Right. I be
Right.
wearing my mask just to scare people away. Like, mm-mm.
No, I agree.
We do have a couple more questions in the comments. So Nathan did ask another question. Would y'all date anyone who hasn't had as much love experience than you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
I probably
would.
would.
I
I
don't
feel
think
like
that's
even if I made the boundary that I wouldn't date someone who didn't have as many years as me, that I would still end up somehow, dating them or at least coming into contact with them. Only because that's just how the world works. Even when you put those boundaries there for yourself, you still end up bumping into people. And sometimes that a relationship or that conversation with that person is so good that you go past that boundary, but you wouldn't do that for anyone else.
Mhm.
Um, as far as like in the past, like I've dealt with people who only had like one girlfriend or boyfriend before, and sometimes that resulted in like love bombing, them doing it to me. Sometimes it resulted in a whole lot of like miscommunication, and they didn't understand why I had worked the way that I worked. They don't know that I went through like 12 heartbreaks in the past seven, like 2 years or whatever, and they've only been through one. So would I date them? Yes. Would it be kind of hard to navigate with certain situations? Also, yes. But go ahead, Chico. How would you feel about dating someone who doesn't have as much love experience as you do?
I mean, why not? Like at one point we didn't have as much love experience as somebody else did, and they still wanted to give us a chance. But it's all just a learning factor. We're all learning throughout the years that are coming and stuff like that. So, in all honesty, I do gotta agree with what you said though. Like, being that it is something new for them, they would probably suck at communication. So, like, being that that's such an important factor in a relationship, something that's lacking like that, I feel like I would probably have to take the hand and be like, you know what, let's sit down and talk and figure out how we're gonna make this work. But yeah, I would
Yeah,
definitely
I
give
feel
it a
like
chance.
dating someone who doesn't have as much love experience as you, it might create like a power dynamic, and it's going to be you constantly telling them how to like how to do things
Right.
or
And then
guiding
I don't
them
want to sound like I'm
how
needy
to do
too.
things.
Yeah. And then like once you start like reaching out more and more and more and stuff like that, you start sounding kind of needy. So that's why I'm like, I would do it, but like, with like tweaks and stuff like that here and there. But that's my input on that.
Well,
yeah. Um, I would. I will say that with that, because I've dated quite a bit, and so I've dated a variety of people also. So I do think that with that comes with a lot of things that I'm not gonna say all people, but in my experience, it comes with a lot of things that people probably should heal from also, or if like because I've in the past I've had people compare me to their ex all the
or
time,
their mother.
or their mother, or like bring it up, a lot in conversation, and it just kind of because I'm not the one to just bring up my exes or like stuff like that unless we were talking about it or you ask about it. But like I'm not gonna be comparing you to them or things. And I get it if something is triggering for you or that your ex did such and such whatever. But as far as like that, I think that's something that you should not take into your new relationship because it definitely affects the dynamic. And I also get the power dynamic too, especially if you're dating someone that's a little bit older than you. So um, I think those are all factors into dating.
For me personally, and I do want to amplify. No, Nathan, you're absolutely right. Being compared to your partner's mother is absolutely insane. And honestly, and I'm going to say this in the nicest way possible, but it is going to come off a certain way because I already have motherly attributes. Regardless of me being an actual mom, I've always been the mom friend. I attract people who have mommy issues. So when I piss those people off, they compare me to their mother because I'm doing something that they don't like. And I'm saying, I'm just like, first of all, I understand why you have the issues that you do because I don't like your mama. I'm gonna be honest. I don't like your mama, but I will never, ever, 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 ever be your mother. I take that as an insult almost every single time because I've had it have heard it more than once, especially from my most recent ex. He has said that quite a few times. I'm like, I will never ever be your mom. I made it very clear that I have my indiscretions on how you were treated as a child because that is the reason why you're treating me like you're treating me today. And I don't like that. So that is definitely an X for me.
Yeah.
Oh, and
I,
it's
as
like,
as far as the mommy issue thing, whatever, I only I will admit that I'm not a very patient person. So
mm,
there's only so much that I'm able to do to give in a moment. But then if I am tapped at that time, whatever, get somebody else to do it.
get
Because
somebody else to do it.
once I get to that point, I'm not a kind person. Like I'm not. Like if I am there, hold on, my grandma's calling me. If I'm there, like I'm so sorry. Like I don't have it for you right now. Like that's not to gauge how I feel about you, whatever. But like your partner is your partner. Your partner is not your therapist. Your partner is not your parent. Your partner is not those things. So I think that a lot of times people try to dump things onto them or project things onto them. It's like, nigga, chill. Like, and for the most part, I am a chill person. I know that I'm crazy, but for the most part, I am chill. Like I just be to chill. Like I just want to have fun. But when you're in your feelings all the time, whatever, it gets to a point where I'm like, nigga, come on, please.
Right.
Right. And we do have a couple of, because I'm looking at these comments, there are some really nice questions in these comments. So we're going to go ahead and jump on the next one. So Nathan asks, how do you communicate to your partner your boundaries or wanting to set boundaries in a relationship? One thing I can say is that I get into kind of insecure, or because I have people pleasing tendencies. She's gonna come back. I have people pleasing tendencies, so there are times where I want to set a boundary, but I'm kind of afraid to because I don't want to upset the other person. But now at that point, I pay it because at the end of the day, if I don't set that boundary, the only person I'm hurting is myself.
Right.
So I definitely go ahead and I just definitely just tell them like, hey, I'm not comfortable with this. There are certain comments that you say that I'm just not. I don't really connect with. I don't click with. They're just not my thing. And their reaction is going to dictate how I'm going to speak to them and how I move with them. If they're very understanding, then I'm going to move forward with you. But if you're sitting here and you're telling me, oh, well, this and that about not changing and I'm doing too much and I'm too sensitive, too sensitive. Oh, you will definitely lose me if you call me sensitive for something that I'm making a boundary about, especially since I would never do that to another person. Of course, there's some times where someone else's boundary might make you feel a way where you're kind of just like, I never had to do this before. But at the end of the day, if you really want to get to know that person, build a future with that person, there's just certain accommodations that you'll just do automatically.
Mm-hmm. My issue comes in is when somebody sets a boundary or whatever, has a boundary, but then does the thing that they don't like you to do. And,
It gives, I don't like when you do it, but it's okay if I do it.
right, but also like there are times where I've been in situations where somebody will set a boundary or whatever, or I'll set a boundary. I'll start with me. I'll set a boundary, and I've noticed about myself is that I won't always say what my boundaries are. I'll just feel a way about it, and I'll just like allow it to be pushed all the time because like that's just kind of me.
Yeah, I feel you on that. But then once you like
But that's
start setting those boundaries, now
but that's
you're the bad guy.
my fault because I don't always communicate those boundaries. I'll just feel away and then I'll react because I'm like, nigga, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you. I struggle with that too,
And
and like I
I'm
started
not
to
gonna lie
learn.
with you. I'll push boundaries too. I ain't gonna hold you. I have done it. I've definitely pushed other people's
You're
boundaries.
honest about it, and I respect you.
I'm honest. I will push other people's boundaries, especially if I'm angry. I'll be like, girl, fuck your boundary. I don't care.
Right, I'm the boundary. uh,
Yeah, definitely done that before.
I mean, honestly, with boundaries, I feel like the way that I would approach them is like, hey, is it okay? If not, all right, let me know. But it's like you said, I'm the type of person that won't say anything until like now it's just starting to take me off type shit. So
Nathan said,
like once it gets to that point, I'm like, bro, like, keep your distance. But then I say it in the wrong way where I'm now the bad person. So like it's just a matter of like setting your boundary at the moment. You know what I mean? Like let that person know, hey, I don't fuck with this or I don't mess with that, and just get it going from there. Cause from my experience, like I lash out in a bad way, and it definitely followed me. But it's
yeah,
whatever.
I'm definitely, yeah. Go
So
ahead.
we're reaching that hour mark, so I am going to do this one last question, and that one last question is from Ty. Um, and it's a very important one. Have y'all ever dated someone that had a different love language than you? And if so, how did you navigate that? Um, well, with me, I kind of mess with all love languages, but one of them, and one of them is gift giving. I have an issue with being on the receiving end of that, and that has part of the that's the hyper independence in me, where I'm kind of just like, why the fuck are you buying me something?
You're suspicious.
Like,
That's
what
so
am I supposed to
suspicious.
do? You gave me this thing that I said that I needed, and now I'm wondering why you bought it. Why'd you give it to me? But honestly, there are people where they have like, a main one, like it might be physical touch or time spent or things like that. So you kind of just alternate it, and it kind of happens naturally for me, where I'm already just accommodating to that person, especially since my love language is almost all of them. On different days and different hours, it's kind of just easy for me to shift. Well, if your love language is time spent or quality time, well, shit, I like hanging out anyway. We don't always have to go out either. I'm the type of person where if you invite me to your house, I'm gonna make the day out of it. One thing that I deal with is that a lot of my friends have messy rooms, and they like apologize to me, like they're like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry, my room's so dirty." I'm like, "I don't give a damn. Let's clean it." We'll turn on some music and we'll go clean your room, and we'll make a day out of that. I'm that type of person. So as far as like concluding, giving that answer, I'll just switch it up every now and then. And of
Yeah.
course, you being my partner, you'll automatically kind of do the same. Where if the love language is physical touch, well, okay, we'll cuddle for about 20 minutes. It's kind of like that. So yeah, we'll just alternate and accommodate for each
I
other so
feel
we
like
keep
that keeps things
comfortable
exciting.
with.
I feel like that keeps things exciting in a relationship too, because like I don't want to like come home and it's like the same thing. Like, oh hey, I made you some food, which I appreciate. I appreciate any type of food, but like if we could
I
do something
question why I
different to
invited
like
them.
get going, that would be even litter, if that's a word. But it is now. But yeah, y'all got the point.
Yeah, no, I definitely hear that. I will say that I have dated someone whose love language is different than mine. I kind of feel like the same way. We just on different days it could change, but I think most of the time mine is quality time and words of affirmation. But I've dated someone who like to like do things like give gifts and stuff like that, and I don't care about material stuff like that. I don't It's not really, it's never been a thing that I really cared for. Yes, I'll be like, okay, cool, great, love, thank you, but like that's not what I care about. I care about like spending time with that person, you know what I mean? And like you said, as far as like in the room, like if you're with your friends, like I mean, like, I have friends like that too that will literally be like, "Oh, excuse my house or excuse my room," and I'm like, "Girl, like I don't give a fuck about this. Like I don't care. Like I'm not or your friend. I'm not gonna sit here and judge you because you got
Right.
shit on the floor or something like that. You know." Um,
Now, there's a roach running around and you don't kill it. That's
so
different.
Yes, please. Stay over
At
there.
that point, I'm walking out.
Nah, but sorry, I think it's a plane flying over. But
I'm gonna say like, oh, you in a
so,
tunnel.
no, I'm dead. But yeah, like I this is kind of difficult, but hold on.
We was about to hear all the tea. That's crazy.
We
My
was
mom,
ready. We was ready.
but yeah, sorry, I'm gonna end it there.
You're good. So as a way to kind of end the show, and honestly, the way that someone over here who is not in the screen is going to probably plan it, we're probably going to meet each other again on said panel. But what is shut up? What is what is something that you want to let the older generation know about younger people and how we date? For me personally, I want to say that I understand that y'all see things certain ways, but the only reason why you see it in a certain way is because of the generational gap. And now there's social media, so we see all the messiness going in other people's lives. But I feel like it's almost just as messy. It's just that back then y'all didn't have social media, and y'all didn't have all that to amplify the drama. But I feel like we're kind of dealing with some of the same things that y'all used to deal with as younger folk back in the 1970s,
So
80s.
Slow down.
Yeah.
nah, I would honestly say, in my opinion, that it's like you said, things are completely different from like how it was back then. In my opinion, I feel like social media has definitely influenced that a lot. Technology as a whole in general.
Has just amplified it to hell.
Yeah, in all honesty. So I'm like, for example, like my mom, she'd be like, "So, where's your girlfriend?" I'm like, "I don't know. Where'd she go? I'm still looking for her." But like, I feel like there's always a rush to like get married, have kids, have a house, get all that done, so that way you could keep the family tree going or whatever. But I feel like in this generation, you shouldn't be rushing at all because you never know what's out there, to be honest. And now, how influencers have like other people our age and stuff like that, you really can't easily trust anybody like that. So I would just say give us some time, like give us some time to figure it out, and then we'll get it from there.
Hello.
Um, I will say that not everybody wants the same things, as far as like and I get that. I think a lot. I will say that in my parents, I know they wanted grandkids and wanted all these things, whatever, and stuff like that. I will say that I want them to take away is that we all don't want the same things. Not all of us want to have kids. Not all of us have means to have kids. Not all of us wants to get married. You know what I'm saying? We don't all have that. We don't all want that. I'm not gonna say that I don't want that, but I'm just saying that I do think a lot of times parents kind of put pressure on their kids to be married or have said things by a certain age, and that's just not realistic.
It
Um,
never worked out. Like,
and that it's not realistic, and also things are just harder. Like we said, like you brought up a good point, like as far as social media and stuff like that, it makes it harder to date. It's not that we don't want these things. It's just like we have like the whole wave of the hot girls, the city boys, city girls, whatever. So it's like
Acronyms and names and shit.
it's like the dating pool got a little P in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Um, and yeah, honestly, I agree. I mean, one thing that I do realize is that people sometimes only do things to make their parents happy, and they end up like unhappy for the rest of their lives. Like there are people who have parents who just wanted grandkids, needed grandkids, so they had two, three, four, five of them, but they didn't want to have kids in the first place. So now they're just sitting there unhappy. I know with me personally, um, I I have dreams about being married, but I knew me having kids would be a reality, if that makes sense. Like I love kids, and I knew I wanted kids. As far as marriage, I don't need it per se. I would love to have a partner who I can equally split the responsibility of with my kids with, because I'm not exactly objected to having another one in the far future. If Raina turns 5 tomorrow and she asks me for a kid, she's getting a dog. But I'm not objected to having more kids. But as far as having like that marriage thing, it's more of the party planning people. I'm party planning person in me. I'm just like, I would love to plan a wedding. Now actually going through the ceremony.
Right.
I don't know about all that, but
Right.
I would, yes, far future when it comes to it.
And it's interesting you say that because for me, like I don't necessarily need it either. But if I'm with a partner who wants marriage or wants those things, I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
I don't have a problem with that. But it's as far as like, because I already like had an idea like, okay, I guess I'm gonna be alone for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? Depending on how these dating situations go, whatever. But I don't. I agree. I don't necessarily need it. If it happens, it happens.
Oh. Well, first off, I want to end this by saying thank y'all so much because y'all didn't have to call out of work, move plans to come onto this panel. So I do appreciate y'all coming. I appreciate my community for actually like showing up and coming.
The Transformers.
The Transformers, the eligibility community,
The Gibbets, honey.
the LGBTs and such. But I love you all, and I do want to end this with a reminder again. It was in my intro. Do not let one person ruin your perception of love. That person was meant to be a big lesson in your life, but it wasn't meant to be the end all to be all. Nathan, please. Autobots Unite is insane.
Decepticons unite.
So I love everybody down. And until next time, of course, I already know that Sir over here is planning another panel. So I will see y'all then, and maybe we'll have even more people on there at different ages and demographics and such, and we'll have even a longer conversation about these things. Irie, yes. See, and this is what's wrong with niggas. I know two of y'all was gonna be late. And guess what? That's exactly what happened. But I love you, Irie, and of course there are going to be more. And then the live is automatically going to get posted on YouTube, so you can see the diabolicalness of this the talk once we do post it. But I love you guys, and I will see all of you very soon. Thank you for coming.
Are you starting a space?
Absolutely.
Hello.
Okay, I found this on the web for a certain space.
Sorry, my.
What?
You guys have a good night.
I thought it was the government hacking my phone. I was like, oh my god.
We have been hacked. The live has been hacked. But yes, I love you guys, and we will see you next time. Thank you for coming.
Alrighty, see you guys later.